Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Good Servant Show. Praise the Lord for everything. All right, all right. I think we are. On track now. And yes, yes. I was very, very close. I don't know if you guys had seen it. Hello, everybody. Just to say hello again, real quick, but. I don't know if you saw when I first. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. I don't know if you guys saw the first time that I put on this show was actually 5:15, and I was gonna make it like 5:30 or 5:45, something like that. But then I was like, well, I didn't tell anybody that it was gonna be late. It would be not great to be more than like 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late. And I think the original time I put on here was like 5:15 or something like that. And it was right about like an hour before the show or something like that. And then I changed it. Then I went back and changed it to like 5 or 5:05. I can't remember. But hey, Luke. Yeah, and then like so so I made it 5. I changed it back to 5 and leaned back. It was about, what time was it? What time was it? I want to say it was like 4:55, and I was just chilling there for a second, and I was like, all right, I had so much sleep today that I wasn't really that tired. I kept taking naps on and off all day. Well, not really. Yesterday more so than today, but because today I was dealing with some stuff for my son. But anyway, I'm here an hour late, and then the moral of the story is I kind of knew it from the beginning that I needed an extra hour, but didn't quite pull the trigger on making it like officially 6 o'clock. The goal, right? Okay, the goal was to keep adding an hour, right? Keep adding an hour until in the morning I'm at 8 o'clock California time, 11 on the East Coast. And then in the evening, I would be, 5 or 6. So it'd be like, 8 or 9 on the East Coast. And I think those are good times. I'm okay with that. I would be okay with I think I would be okay with like 9 on the East Coast and you know 11 a.m. on the East Coast in the morning. I think a lot more people would show up because like the last couple of them, I was like at 7 o'clock California time, and we had 15 both times. So, and that's as big as I want it to be because it's not controllable after that, And so, yeah, those times are good, right? The later the times, I think, is better. So I get what you're saying, Deb, and so I know that we went the other direction and went real early. But I think we like at that moment we made the content better, so much better to do it that way. But if it's going to be the same, I would rather do it later. Am I on Skype? Yes, Luke is on Skype. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I don't see him on there very often, but he's got a thing up there. And so okay, we have the Good Servant chat room, right? But there's also, you could Skype each other personally, right? Where it's just you guys in the box, And so just to let you guys know that you don't always have to put it in the big box. Okay, if you want, I can put you guys in a chat box together if you don't know how to do that. Because I don't know how often any of you guys use it. Any of like Skype is something that I'm happy I learned how to use it, but it's not something I use that much anymore. Luke says I didn't know I still had a Skype. Well, here's the goofy part of that, right? Is that the Skype is actually a good program, man. And in the first like year of doing this channel, we did all of our recordings straight from Skype. Those are Skype recordings. We just got into a conversation and started recording the call, and then we started talking. Debbie still has a Skype too. Yes, it's. I don't know if you are attached to it, but it's still up there. Yeah, I don't. Those things don't go away, Debbie. They're forever. If you sign back up, it's still there. Yeah. He says, Deb, I'll text Faith, Chris, and Michael. That's interesting. So, but anyway, guys, we got 7 here tonight for the evening, and it's an hour later than normal. Man, I think it doesn't really get any better than this. And I'll tell you what, like, there's been like, so in the morning, I'm gonna have to turn off my text messaging, and like, because there's too many people that don't want to be in the chat box that text me through the whole show, which I don't mind. You got to get your thoughts out or whatever, and I'm cool with that. I just don't want to be reading text while I'm doing the show. I feel like that's not polite. And so, yeah, I'm better off just waiting till the end to do that. All right, so you had us talk with Bob today. He said that you can move out in spring. Nice. What do you mean he said you can move out? Something sounds maybe are you saying it that way? Like you're allowed to move out in the spring? Well, I hope that you enjoy your new direction and that you find a nice spot to be. Oh, he wanted you gone next month. Oh, okay, so he's letting you stay. Okay. Perfect. I was reading that the other way. Like you want to move out, like you want to move out next month, and he's telling you have to wait or something. I don't know, man. It's a lot of weird stuff going on here at my apartment. It says, Stephen, I'm just texting people so they know. No. When I was when that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant like there's 8. Okay, so there's 8 here, and in the morning, there's like almost double that, but some of them don't go in the box, right? They text me personally while the show is going on, and so I feel like because I'm reading it, right? Because I'm reading those text messages while I'm doing the show, that I'm somehow being not polite to you guys, But I get not wanting to be in like some public chat boxes, it's rough, could be rough. Now, this one has calmed down quite a bit. I think the philosophy about what to do here has changed, as far as that's concerned. And so, yeah, I know it always has like some kind of faulty number, right? I remember yesterday it said like 2 or 3, and there was like 5 people chatting, like actively chatting. I'm like, oh, that's great. Whatever. Click. Well, I was talking to Stephanie about it earlier. Clicks is not the best way to measure how good a channel like this is doing. It really is just about Jesus, right? Like, it could be one person or it could be a million people, and I couldn't tell you which one is better, you know? And probably a million is not good. Oh no! Oh no, I spilled my water. I didn't want to do that. Oh, that's upsetting. I spilled my water. Oh, yes. There's so much. Yes, there's much less drama. Much less drama up in here. Um, I think, okay, so in my prayers, right, I get the sense when I pray about, like, the dissension sometimes and, people fighting with each other. When I pray about that, I get the sense that if I keep trying to do the right thing all the time, and when I mess up, go right back to doing the right thing, that only the right people will stay, And so now that's a very little kid way of thinking about it. It's like saying, if I do good, then good things will happen, and if I do bad, then bad things will happen. But so far, it's worked out. I think it's the catering to everybody. That's what was the thing that was damaging, right? Trying to make everybody happy. Can't do it. It's impossible. And so it's better just to just keep rolling, and whatever happens, happens, right? And is that Alex? Hey, Alex, how you doing, buddy? And Rob is here. I'm glad Rob is here. Luke, Deb. All righty. So hey, I don't know what you guys had planned for tonight, right? But I wanted Luke, if you want to join, right, and tell me what's going on, man. I would love to go over that. If you don't feel like it, I get it, man. I get it. But if there's anything that you want to like chat about, I could drop a link, man. It's up to you. You let me know. Because I can always read Bible verses. I got Bible verses over here. It says that is the truth. Even though we do not get salvation through works, when we obey the commandments of God knows. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that like if we're doing what he asks us to do, he won't let us get hurt. Because I've tested that. Like I've tested that in like the most extreme way, Okay, that's cool, man. Where I'm like forgiving over and over and over again on like a troll that's just relentless. I mean, just a relentless troll that was always here. I mean, attacking me, everybody, right? And and I never did anything to defend myself. And I mean, God just removed that from us. And it was like in such a way that like you're like, wow, like I didn't really do anything to fight back against that. I just kept showing love. Now there was a point where it was like, okay, well, I gotta block this person at all costs, no matter what. So it was hard to stay patient, especially when people are going after each other in the chat. But your gift is giving love to the hardcore. Like you're not that. You're not hardcore, Dev. No, but I have done that though. Like, with you guys aside, right? I'm just saying, like, I've prayed for like, God to send me the hardest ones to love. Send me the hardest people to love. And I feel like that's happened a couple of times. But no, you guys are great. If anything, I'm, just nothing special about me. That's for sure. That is for sure. Patience, I guess, right? Patience, being able to tolerate, being able to tolerate certain things. Well, every time that, you know, especially recently, right, I'm trying to learn more and more to just go straight to God instead of even before I text a friend and say, oh man, did you see that? Before I even do that, I need to go straight to God because every time, I wait until I've processed, something that's got me emotional, it's usually gone and it was never that big to begin with. I'm like, why was I even tripping? Like, why did I get my feelings hurt at all? And I get it only hurts when I'm when I have um, a high level of respect for somebody or high expectations, and and I get let down or whatever, or disappointed, and yeah, it's like I let that get to me only because I want for that person to, I mean, they could be, you know, their best self, and that does kind of I need to work on that. I need to work on that because that's unfair. That's unfair. And yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. Um, Michael says, "Hey guys, I just put my nephew down to bed." Oh, that's great, Michael, man. That's great. That is great. I'm so glad that you were able to get back there, and I think that was the most important part of you going back there was being there for your nephew, man. How old is he again? It's it's just so important, man, us to have role models and stuff. She said she needed to pray about some things. I haven't talked to her in a couple days. I would say she's okay. Last time I talked to her. Um, I hope I hope she's great, to be honest. Oh, he's 3 years old. Yeah, yeah. I had a stepson that was about that age when me and his mom split. Um, in a way, it's a fun age, man. Hey, Ann, how you doing? I believe him too, Michael. And when a kid says they talk to God, I believe that, and I really do. Because in hindsight, I can remember talking to God even before I knew what God was and all that stuff. I didn't know what any of that was back then. But now that I think in hindsight, God was always there. I think when we're kids, we're probably connected. Rob says it's very hard to find God-fearing people, God-fearing male influences. Yes, yep, that's exactly it. With people with some kind of integrity. And I think that's important because, check this out, right? Like, even though, because my dad was, he wasn't, he had a lot of problems, right? But even through that, I wanted to be like my dad so bad, and I always wanted to be around him and stuff. And so if you can imagine what a positive role model could do for you, you know, if you're that attached to somebody that's really not that good for you. I wish I could go back and live those years over again. I was so naive to what was going on. I thought the world was like everyone had it all under control, and obviously that's not the truth. I'm like, oh yeah, there's politicians and scientists, man. They got it. They got it under control. Everything's gonna be great, but there is not even one section of the world that's under control. You know what I mean? Yeah. I dropped the I dropped the link. He can click it if he wants. I just want to see what's going on, man. Hopefully everybody's squared away. I really want to hear about if Chris got the job, man. That would be cool. That would really if he came in here and said that he got the job, that would be a nice little that'd be a good little boost, right? Michael said, I put him before me and it actually helps me in a way because I'm not dwelling on negative thoughts and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you're helping somebody else, you can't think about yourself, you know what I mean? I always ask people that. I'm like, if like, because I know that like people are like really hard on themselves, right? And so I always ask them like, okay, if you were sitting on the stairs and you came up to you to help you, what would you tell yourself? You know what I mean? Like, would you be easy on them, right? Say, or would you be like as hard on that person as you are on yourself? We always hold ourselves to this standard that's impossible, where, you know, like this standard where we're not going to make it. But in reality, if we were another person, we would tell that person it's easier than that. And I don't know if that made any sense what I just said, but it made sense to me when I thought about that. I was like, well, if I sat down next to myself, right, what would I tell me? I don't know. That not to worry and that everything is just relax. Hello, Luke. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. So, what have you been up to lately, man?
Not too much. Staying busy.
Is it
Working a
is,
lot.
is it slowing
Golfing a
down with the
little
pool?
bit, and just now, I was shaving and just got done taking a shower and all that. So I just now
Nice.
got ready to be able to talk. But yeah, you kind of learn to multitask when you stay busy.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, is it
But it's been
slowing?
good. I can't complain. Life kind of burns me out a little bit, and sometimes there's just a lot of pressure. But at the end of the day, I know the Lord's with me, and that things will always be all right.
So, like, what do you think is like the most helpful thing? Like, so, like, you're in the daily grind, right? Because, like, I don't know if everybody is. There's some people here that have to still go out and be in the world and make a living, right? And then, come back home, right, and separate from the world again, right? What's the most helpful thing to like not like start assimilating with the world, right? Like not get involved with all the goofiness, right? Is it tough? Is it hard to fight that? Or
That's a tough question. I mean, I guess just doing what you have to do. Obviously, you gotta make money to pay bills and whatever. But I think a lot of it too is just finding some time for yourself because you got to be able to have a little bit of time to yourself to get closer to God and be able to, go through more of a spiritual journey. Plus, reading scripture and all that. So I think having time for yourself is definitely important, and I think it's just good to have. Time to reflect and all that as well.
that's good, man. Anything in the news, man? I don't watch any TV or anything. Is there
Not really, man. I mean, I hear stuff, from what people talk about. I guess like polio's back, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of the same way. I don't really pay attention to it.
well, somebody told me that like a bridge, like some kind of bridge, was it a bridge or something? Blew up or something? Or a dam, like some kind of dam blew up, and I was like, "What? That's humongous news," And so I, went on to YouTube to check it out, and I guess there was some transformer down there, like I think it's the Hoover Dam or something like that blew up. It wasn't huge or nothing, like it didn't break the dam or anything like that. But I'm like, man, look at these disasters are starting to line up, man. There's so many in a row.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then, I don't know like how serious the wildfires are and things like that, but it almost seems like it's a normalized thing that like some kind of like crazy earthquake or volcano or fire, some like natural disaster is just a normal thing now. And that's
Well,
pretty weird.
what do you think about these like these old stories of like, like where they talk about like Chicago, like the whole city was on fire, or San Francisco, like in like the early 1900s, like the whole city was on fire. Like I don't know, I find that hard to believe, man. Like that a whole city is on fire. Like what could
Yeah.
cause that? You know what I mean? Like what could cause like every building in the city to be on fire? There's more to that. That I they really got lazy with the details on these things.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing, It's like some you hear about, but you would think like it would really be stuck there. Like you'd hear about businesses that went out, or like people's families, or you know what? You'd hear that through the community. You would think with something huge like that.
It's like they said, like in 1906, right? There was an earthquake, and San Francisco caught the whole city caught on fire, and they had to rebuild a lot of stuff. And I'm not laughing because like I'm laughing because it's absurd, right? Like every building in a city on fire. I mean, I can't like what happened? Like you know what I mean? Like yeah, they say an earthquake, but an earthquake is not like that. It's really not is what people think. It's over in 2 seconds. And so to think that like I don't know, 200, 2,000 fires started at one time is kind of like I don't know. It's
Yeah, it
yeah,
seems like it would be over exaggerated to say the least. And with all
yeah,
these things they lie about, I'm finding it hard to believe that there's something that impactful.
yeah. Because I mean, it's not just like if it was just San Francisco, it's like okay, maybe that was just some kind of wild event. But just tell me that two cities caught on fire like that. That's stretching it, man. And then Rob is like at this point, over 99%, right, of what we're told is a lie. And that's, I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm like, even basic building blocks of history, like, George Washington or like Christopher Columbus, none of that. None of it's true, man. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah. I remember even hearing like, and I don't even know how legit this guy is. I haven't heard him in like years. Eddie Bravo. He was talking about like even Tesla. They don't have proof that Tesla actually existed. Supposedly, there's like a recording of him talking, and that's like the closest proof that they have. But it makes you think like how many of these people are actually legit, or like, do they play a role? And I've heard goofy stuff too, where it's like Bush and Charles Manson is the same person, and I don't know if I believe that. I'm a little more
yeah.
convinced with like Bill Hicks being possibly Alex Jones, but it's like maybe there are people that do play multiple roles. That's kind of like brings more speculation and all that at that point, but it does make you think.
I think they would do something like that to troll people, right? Like I could see it in that way, but like I don't think it happens that often, right? Like I mean, obviously the Kavanaugh thing, right? That's what I think of is the Brett Kavanaugh, the justice that was I guess he went to court for the sexual harassment of that lady or whatever. And before they put him on the bench and he played the lady and himself. Remember that?
I don't think so. No.
So like he was this judge that was going to be put on the Supreme Court, and then there was a lady that came forward and said in high school, right? Because these people got to be perfect. They have to have like perfect, character and all this stuff, right? I mean, they go way deep, way back. That's the narrative, right? I don't know how true any of it is, right? But but the lady that has accused him of sexual harassment in high school, he played the part of the lady, and he played the part of himself in the court in the Senate trial, which is, you know, that's an incredible waste of time, right? And money and all this stuff, right? All that for like some kind of ritual, some kind of humiliation ritual or something. It's
Yeah, that's a weird one right there.
yeah, check it out if you get a chance. It's I mean, like when you know, okay, when you know it before you go into it, right? It's obvious, but like to find out, you're like, no, no way, like that can't be true. That's like if Bill Clinton was also Monica Lewinsky, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy to think about, man. I
Yeah,
think
and I think like you know, sometimes like you start going down rabbit holes and then it gets exaggerated. Like there's, you know, transgender celebrities, but I mean, there's people that say, which maybe they are right, that Trump is a female, you know, and it's like,
it's
I think
hard
at
to tell
some
the
point,
guys,
where does it
man.
stop? Where does that line stop, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. For me, it's hard to tell the guys, man. I don't know, man. But like, man, see, it's so hard, man. Like it's easier for me to tell the women because of like there's like the hips and all that, right? All these easy markers, right? And I don't know, man. I can't really tell the men, but I know that what he's married to is a man. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think I agree with you on that
And
one.
his daughter, I mean, his daughter, especially with the long neck and everything.
Yeah, probably. It
Yeah.
seems like they have more like male to female transitions for some reason.
I think it's some kind of a cultic like thing, right? It's like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of power or something that they tap
I
into.
think it's and Russian Vids actually kind of like said something similar too. Is like the whole mockery. I think it just goes part of that because like what God would not want, that's one of those things. You know, I think anything that like God would disapprove of, the devil's trying to make normal. You know, and that's why
Yeah.
they're normalizing all these things and calling, you know, good bad and bad good. And I think that's just a big part of it is like they want to do that to because they know like God doesn't like that, so they're purposely trying to make that a normal thing.
Just to like do everything the opposite, like
Yeah, pretty much. And
completely
you know, it's
inverted.
loads of opposites. You know that they tell us that you know these stars and all that are billions of miles away. The Earth is billions of years old. That the Earth is spinning and not stationary. Like exactly everything being opposite. You know, there's all these other planets and all that. Even though this is it, this is the world.
Yeah, it makes me feel good that everything is close and that I feel more safe that way. Like, and it also makes more sense for me, like when in Revelation when Jesus comes back, right? That like just how that's gonna be, like how I can picture it now. Where can you imagine like you're on a spinning ball and you're thinking about Jesus coming back? Like where's he gonna pop? Like what? Just pop out of nowhere, and then jump on the ball or something like that? Or I mean, it gets absurd at some point. But when you know that God is right up there, you know, and he's just gonna come down on a cloud, that's awesome, man.
Oh yeah, it's relieving, and you know I think flat Earth really helped a lot of people's spirits because you know reading the Bible, it's like none of that mentions like you know space and all these planets. It doesn't mention anything like that.
No, I think it was in the Kabbalah, right, where it's I think they say everything comes out of one speck or something like that. Everything explode like I don't know, like it's everything started as a speck and then it became everything. That's like the closest thing to like the Big Bang or something like that. And even that, I'm like, well, I don't know, man. It sounds pretty satanic to me, man. Think about this, right? So God creates the world in 6 days, right? Then on the seventh day he rested, right? I mean, it's not like he was tired, right? Like God doesn't get tired, right? So like he rested because he was done, right? He was done. So you would have to believe, right, that there's this big old self-creating ooga booga created, infinity world, right? That's still being created today. That's insanity, man.
Yeah, they just make it so complex and they basically just create rabbit holes for you and there's not like an end game. There's not like an end thing that you get to because it's either Jesus the truth or you're going to be caught up in a deception because you're never going to hit that finish line if you're caught up in the wrong rabbit hole. And that's why it's like you can go on and learn about space, but it's not going to get you anywhere because it doesn't even exist.
I do like that it is a contrast like that, right? Where it's like very clear, right? It's either you accept the truth, right? And the Bible's our only real truth, and it leads to Jesus, right? And that's the only way you can like profit from any narrative in this world. That's the only gain there is to get, right? Is to have a relationship with Jesus and to like move on to the next life, right? But also, like the world is so contrary to God, right? It's so opposite. It's like at least it's not confusing where you're like, maybe there's good parts of this and good parts of that. I mean, it's wacky out there, man. Like it's wacky on its best day. And the only thing that like is okay, I'll say it like this. The wackiest thing out there is that people don't see it, man. They don't see that this world is
Yeah, at the very
crazy.
least, they can't connect the dots because I think your average person will say like, "Yeah, the world's messed up," or something's off and all that, but it's still like normalized. The fact that it is wacky, but it's like normal for that, and they continue just going on with their day and kind of like I think people are just sort of stuck in autopilot mode.
Man, I think there's gonna be some people that are gonna be just shocked, man. Because like, can you imagine if you were like, say like if you were still out there like being worldly and just hanging out and whatever, like I don't know how to say it, but like just like your old self, right? And like had no idea that we were this close to the end. And then you find out like boom, like oh wait, the end is like it could be tomorrow, right? That would be so shocking cuz like I mean, there's a chance that you could have missed it, Like oh man, that would be so scary to find out like that everything is a scam all at one time and then it be
Oh
this
yeah.
close to the end. Oh man, I would freak out, man.
I mean, just finding out like new rabbit holes and like big things like flat Earth, and then like the fake events, things like that. I mean, that right there is almost a lot to take in, and that's why I think some people like go to a certain point and then they just like ignore it or move on, and it kind of makes me worried too. Which I'm not really worried because I know at the end of the day God's plan is God's plan, but I think people will be deceived with the Antichrist because people are going to know things are off and, there's going to be like these fake solutions, like you said, that fake love where everybody's like one and, one world, one religion type thing. And they're going to be deceived because maybe they are going to, stop certain tyrannies and like, solve certain situations and people are going to blindly follow this guy because how many people jump in like Alex Jones bandwagon or how many people still go to Trump rallies. If someone like that can, deceive a bunch of people and have them follow him, then it's like, when the actual Antichrist is around, I think a lot of people are going to be deceived, especially seeing how the world's falling apart. And then there's this figure that's supposedly fixing everything.
Right. Like putting it back together, saying, oh, yeah, it was those people that did it. And now we're putting it back together. And then he's going to do all kinds of miracles. And he's supposed to come back to life from a mortal head wound, right? And if you don't know that, right, if you don't know that that's coming and you see that, somebody do that, you could be easily fooled, Like, wow, look at this. I'm so glad he came to save the world, this guy. And like, if you don't know that it's coming, then oh man, no doubt anybody could be fooled by that. And like when they say like even the very elect would be deceived if that were possible, I mean, if I mean that could be any of us, man. Like I don't even think it matters how smart you are or how awake you are. If you don't know the word, right, and what's coming up, man, it's very easy. You could be very easily deceived if you're being honest with yourself, you know?
Oh, easily, yeah. I agree. I mean, especially like, I was saying people, there a lot of them are materialistic, worldly, so it's gonna be kind of like the first like spiritual type of miracles that they're gonna witness. Of course they're gonna follow somebody like that. And I can't blame them, if you don't have the word, how would you even like be able to discern that?
Matthew 24:24, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. I'm just so grateful that, like, just being where we are right now, it's way better than I deserve. Way better than I deserve. Like, sometimes I feel like I tripped over a couple good decisions in life, where I accidentally did the right thing here or there to lead to a certain spot, and none of it was like, I was never like, I don't know, it just seemed more of a blessing than anything I did, you know?
Oh, I agree. It goes with that thing when people sometimes hit rock bottom and then build back up. It's like you take that wrong choice or that wrong path, and then maybe it just takes doing that to know it's the wrong path and then actually stepping on the right direction.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be gained from like coming back from a tough situation too. Like I think that there's a lot like if you face something tough, right? And then you come out of it, overcome it, and that's a good testimony for God, right? That's like, you know, it's a it's it's a lot of glory for Jesus if you can talk to people about being in a tough spot and coming out of it, and then like maybe even helping other people not get into that scenario. Like I think that just people seeing you, could be like a living testimony.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's like you never know who you inspire or what kind of purpose your life serves. So if you're going through a certain like road where it's tough or you do feel like there's a lot of pressure or whatever the situation is, it's like you might not understand why you're going this direction or what God has planned for you, but you got to have that faith that God knows his plan, and that God's going to take care of you, and it's never going to be the way you think. I'm sure you
No.
know too. Never
Yeah.
is.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, there's times where just with the show, right? Where something will happen and I'll be like, "Oh man, that's so disappointing, man. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen," right? And then it turns out like that was the best thing that could have happened. Like, oh man, I wish that would have happened a long time ago then. If it, I was dreading that, and then it ended up being worked out better than it could ever have. And so I would say just even this week, I was wrong about probably five things that where everything got way better, and they're all negative things that I was afraid of. You know,
Oh
that could be
yeah, it's
anything.
it's it's amazing, and it kind of goes both ways too. Not to like be negative, but say like there's like some cool house party or concert, or just like some cool thing, and you think like, oh man, this is gonna be the best day ever, and then you end up going there, and it's like, oh, this is kind of lame. Like I would rather just be at home.
Right? Yeah. There's a lot of disappointing things, man, where we think it's going to be way different. And so, like, I don't know, like there was a lot of times just like I remember when I first when I don't know, you were around from the beginning, man, when we started this 2 shows a day thing. And I used to have to chase people down, man, People would get in a fight and I'd have to chase them down all day, right? And okay, by the time the next show started, okay, everyone was back to normal again. And man, it was so much work, man. Chasing these people all over the internet. I'm like, oh yeah, well come on, yeah, she didn't mean it, man. Oh, be nice, to each other. And man, I don't know, man. I don't know if that helped anybody or not, right? But I know that the less that I try to get involved with my own emotions, right? Wanting everyone, because like my natural thing is, right, is I want everyone to get along. It makes me uncomfortable when people don't get along, but that's my own flesh feeling that way. So is that really what's best for me, or is that what's best for everybody to get along, right? And so I've had to learn how to some things you just have to let them happen because they're supposed to happen, you know? And so trying to figure that out, walk in like what God wants, putting God in the center of everything. That even sometimes you think you're doing good things, it's really for you, you know? And
No, yeah. Yeah,
that was
that's
the
very
hardest
true.
thing. Yeah.
Just like helping someone out or being nice, are you doing that because you're concerned about them, or do you want to feel good about yourself?
Right. So you don't feel guilty or something like that. Like, oh yeah, I gave him $5. I feel good.
But I think you do
It's
pretty
kind of the
good with
wrong
this show.
way.
And you stay consistent. I think, overall, the chat's gotten a lot closer. It's becoming a real good fellowship. And there's just
Yeah,
things sometimes you just can't control. And like you said, who knows? I'm sure it helped a few times running and chasing people down, but I'm sure some of it too would have just worked itself out anyway. But it's tough to
probably.
find that balance, because you want to be like, hey, like, what's going on? What happened? But at the same time, if somebody's like, always doing that, and then you're missing out on like actually giving a show and all that, then it's like you kind of have to make decisions to either just let it go or really try to pursue the person. So I could see how that could be a tough situation sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to try to figure it out, right? But then, like, when I realized how simple really it was, right, was this, right? Trust God, right? If I pray and trust God, it will work out. And, or I could go try to make it work out and, you know, do it that way, right? Which is really like, you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not, and then you're like, I need to just trust God with everything. That's the whole answer to every problem I've ever had in my life is if I trusted God the whole time, then my life would be great right now. It's hard to let
Yeah,
go though. It's hard to let go of that control that we think we have.
yeah, exactly, it really is. But that's what it comes down to is trusting God. I agree. And then it's sometimes it's like sometimes like I don't know if like I'm doing this for myself or if like I'm doing what God wants, but then it comes down to the point where it's like you got to kind of know that, if you just trust God, then you're not overthinking it or any of that, then yeah, it's gonna work out. But sometimes I think you can get caught up to where you don't even realize you're trying to figure it out yourself.
It could be quite the puzzle, man.
Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 15. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. Well, that's great that you put that verse right there, Michael, because when I first started this, I got the feeling from God that my job was to have a place for people to hear the truth about God. And he asked me to lift his name, raise his name, right? But I didn't understand what that meant at first, right? I didn't have the words to, because I didn't know what lifting somebody's name was. I didn't know what that meant. And if I would have known more scripture, I would have known like it's about giving him praise, right? That's about worship. And so that way, when people hear us talking about God, they can decide if they want to be a part of it or not. Like, hey, I want to be part of these guys over here. And that's the way I always pictured it, right? Someone walking by, we're all in a group talking, and then they just kind of like what they hear and just kind of hang out with us. that's like this perfect image in my head of what I think it could be, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it's I'm sure when you first made the show, you didn't exactly predict where it would be at today.
No way.
It's those little steps where it's like you just have that gut feeling or in your Holy Spirit to like do something like today in this show, or have at this time. And it's like those little steps, and then it kind of like turns into where it's like you might have a show almost planned, and then you kind of freestyle it and it ends up working out.
Right,
Because it's like God,
right.
God sets up those steps, and even though you don't know the finish and how it's all processed, you're just kind of going along with it, and He's
Yeah,
setting you up.
you're right. You're right. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times that I've planned a show, put all kinds of time into like like a presentation with slides and everything, and none of that got used, you know? Like it's just you get out there and then God put something on your heart and then that's really what it's about. It's
Amen.
more of him, less of me, I guess. But alrighty, guys, it's time to hit that old dusty trail. Hey, Faith, how you doing? I don't know if you've been there the whole time, but welcome. Um, so thank you, Luke, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it, man. It's good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you too. And I think I'm at that point where I'm not working as many days. It's that mid
Good.
period pools. So if you ever want me back on or some or got time, I'm definitely willing to come back on.
We will definitely talk about that for sure. For sure. All right, buddy.
Awesome, man. God bless you, brother.
You too, man. God bless. Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God because he deserves it. Please pray for the children out there. Please pray for anyone being victimized. Pray for each other. It's important. And, I want you guys to know that, man, I mean, I just can't believe how well everyone's getting along for as many people that are coming. I know the live show only has like a dozen people usually at the most, and but to be big and getting along is it's either one or the other, right? And man, it's getting good, man. Goes in streaks, man. We're getting better at this, right? And so praise Jesus, right? Praise Jesus. And so see you guys, Lord willing, in the morning at 7 a.m.